What's breaking, guys? It's your boy PattyTrills. Making a different type of video. It's really late right now, and I made a tweet earlier. As you can tell by the thumbnail, I made a tweet that I was like, hey, if this tweet gets at least 50 likes, I'll go to my way and I'll explain how Ant-Man's not a good movie. And you guys, for some reason, liked it enough where I would then do it. So I'm just gonna explain why Ant-Man is not a good movie. This is kind of like a video that I used to make, series called Pre on YouTube that I do have a playlist if you want to check stuff out where I actually talk about and I just review things. Patty reviews everything, so that's what the intro was. So I'm just gonna kind of jump into it, and don't worry about Pokemon videos because that's still on schedule or whatever. I just thought I'd make this one-off video in the meantime. So Ant-Man is a film that came out in 2015. It takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When the movie first came out, even now it has pretty positive reviews. Like, a lot of people tend to enjoy this movie, which is weird to me because it's not made well. And I'll break down into that on why I mean that. So, like, for example, I looked up on the internet before reviewing this that it had a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and it had an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, but Rotten Tomatoes is that fucking place, man. If it's a Marvel movie, they So when the movie came out, I saw it in theaters and I walked out very disappointed. Like, before I rip into the movie, I am gonna like tip my hat to the parts that I do think did an okay job at. But yeah, I walked out of the theater very disappointed. I remember my friend looked at me and he was like, yeah, was that movie fucking awesome? And I was like, no, that shit was trash. And like, he gave me the same look that a lot of people gave me, where they're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm just gonna break down this movie. Not saying that I'm a director, not saying that I know everything. It's just, this movie breaks a lot of rules that it sets up, and that's a really big like issue to me. But like I said, I'm gonna talk about the things that I did enjoy, just to get those out of the way, because there's a shorter list of things that I enjoyed than things that I did not. Things I did enjoy, I think Paul Rudd as Ant-Man was great. I mean, everyone loves Paul Rudd. I think he's cool. I think Michael Pena, the guy who plays Paul Rudd's friend Luis, and then T.I. I think was okay at times. I think the girl, what's her name? Fucking plays Hope. I think she was okay. I mean, her character was like kind of generic. It was like, yeah, I'm super fucking stern and whatever. I'm not gonna fall for anything. And then like one conversation changes her perspective or whatever. And I think Michael Douglas as Hope's dad was okay. I think the cast was fine. I don't think there was anyone that was like, oh, this person didn't do a good job, this person was bad. This, you know, I think everyone kind of played their role fine. But there was no roles that really stood out. Like, there was no like, oh, Oscar worthy like lines, any like, it was, this movie just, it was very generic. It was just very bland, very generic. Like, nothing really stood out, you know, and the movie didn't like really take any risks when, I mean, honestly, it's Ant-Man. I don't really think there's much you could do. Like, I think this is probably the best iteration you'll get out of Ant-Man. It's kind of like Aquaman. There's not really what much you could do. You're kind of like, no one really gives a fuck about you. So I give them props for even trying and making somewhat of a coherent film. The movie, like, to explain what pretty much happens in the movie, this is spoiler, obviously, because the movie's 3 years old and it's Marvel, so you guys probably seen it already. Pretty much what happens is Paul Rudd, you know, used to be a thief, used to be a con, pretty much. He, you know, was trying to give that up and have a normal life to fix the relationship with his daughter and with his ex-wife. And obviously he gets brought with an opportunity by his friend Luis, who then tells him, hey, you steal his shit, you make a lot of money to help with your daughter and whatever. And he goes, okay. So he steals the shit. It happens to be the Ant-Man suit. He then becomes part of it. Like, he gets kind of tied into it. Which then you find out that Michael did that shit on purpose, that he knew that he would go out of his way and steal it. Like, really threw a Hail Mary with that attempt to wove that fucking horrible plot together.
We don't. We can do this ourselves.
I go to all this effort to let you steal my suit, and then Hope has you arrested.
And then they go on some shenanigans. He trains, and then he finds out what's going on, that the Yellow Jackets, who Darren is the guy who's played by Corey Stoll, wants to make like a military grade weapon with the suits, because then war would be a lot easier because they'd be a lot smaller, all the stealth missions, yada yada yada. You know, I'm evil because I'm evil. You know, I mean, I get it. I could totally see it. Like, I think him as a villain was okay. I think his motivation was pretty normal. Like, I thought he wasn't like super generic, but I also got why he was doing it, because I could totally see like America getting power like that. They're like, look at all the damage we could do with it instead of help. Like, they're just thinking about the damage, you know. So It's not that I don't find his plan bogus. It's just the way that they try to handle it is weird to me. Like, a big thing that this movie has, so in order to finish it, pretty much Ant-Man has to stop him from doing that, and they have this fight, and he wins, and that's pretty much Ant-Man, and whatever. That's pretty much how Ant-Man is. My issue with this movie is it has a lot of hard times with, like, trying to understand what it wants to be. Like, it wants to be a comedy, but then it wants to be action, and then it wants to be serious, but then it wants to be a comedy. And you can have that because they've done that in the past where movies can be action and comedy. Like the Avengers did it well, you know, Infinity War does it well, you know, so on. Like, those movies aren't perfect either. I mean, Infinity War being the better one out of the two I just named off, but it's still doable. You can still have an action-based comedy movie, you know, you can still have like certain jokes here, but this one like really tried to push it with too much comedy, and a lot of the jokes just don't land. It's kind of like Thor Ragnarok, because in my opinion, I don't think Thor Ragnarok's that great of a movie. Not for the same reasons. There's other reasons why I don't like that film, but not for the same reason. But one of the underlining lines that they have is they both try to be way too funny, and it just doesn't work, because when you try to set up a serious scene when the whole movie is funny, you then can't feel serious about the scene, because you can then just rely on the fact that it will be okay because it's funny. So like, pretty much in this movie, they set rules, they explain what's going on with Ant-Man, and then they tend to break all those rules. So like, pretty much this movie holds your dick throughout the entire thing. Like, you can pretty much understand, like, from the moment the movie begins and the plot's really set, you can be like, I know it's gonna happen. Like, there's not gonna be any real twists and turns to this, but all right. Which, you don't need crazy twists. Like, I know I love The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Like, I have a Batman shirt on, and they had twists and turns, but I don't expect every movie to fucking be like that, because like, that's the point. Like, you know, there's different iterations of everything, but like, you can still have twists that are minor. You can have a minor twist that then changes the entirety of a scene. Like in Spider-Man Homecoming, where the villain was someone's dad. Oh no, spoiler. Like, you know, and it put a twist on that scene where you're like, oh shit, like, that's weird. That makes things awkward. That makes tension. Like, that's fine. It wasn't crazy. Like, it didn't like fucking, like, the world wasn't in trouble at that time. But like, that twist added depth into the situation and and complicated, you know, that, like, it complicated Peter Parker in that moment. And that's fine. It's good. See, it wasn't big, but it worked. And so in this movie, they don't really do any of that. It's all pretty cut and paste, act 1, act 2, act 3. Like, that's it. So pretty much in the movie, they explain, okay, Ant-Man, you can shrink and you can change your mass, you can change your size, but your mass stays the same. So when you shrink down to the size of an ant, you're still like, let's say 180 pounds. So when you punch, it's 180 pounds condensed into the size of an ant fist, which then makes it very powerful, because that's how force works. Which, they set that logic up, totally cool, totally buy it, totally fine, makes sense. It doesn't have to make 100% like logical sense in physics, because, you know, there's plenty of movies that make up their own like their own physics in their own universe, and as long as they explain it and show it off correctly, it's totally believable and it's fine. Example, Star Wars, the Force isn't real, but they use it and they explain how it's from, and people can buy it, and people like understand it's an existing like law in that universe. So in here, they explain that you get small, your mass stays the same, therefore you pack a crazy punch, but you're still 180 pounds. Boom, got it. Right, so he gets the suit, he's trying it on because, you know, it intrigues him, which you know, that's totally fine. If I robbed a place and got a suit like that, I'd be like, well, what the fuck? Now I'd put it on, whatever. So his buddy Luis comes home. He then shrinks down to the size of an ant. He hits the tub, and the tub shakes. Boom, great representation of weight. He still weighs 180 pounds. He hits the tub, therefore tub vibrates. Totally fine, totally on board. Now this is where the movie then breaks all the rules possible and continuously does this throughout the entire movie. So then the very next scene is Luis comes in the bathroom. He looks for Ant-Man, doesn't see him obviously, so he goes, all right, well, I'm gonna take a shower. Turns on the shower water, and the water comes in and hits Ant-Man. Ant-Man is flung out of the tub. Well, that wouldn't make sense, because if he's 180 pounds, the water then hitting Ant-Man would do nothing. Like, if you have a rock in the water and you turn on the water, the rock doesn't move, and the rock weighs less than a pound. You have a man that weighs 180 pounds, you turn on a little bit of water and he gets shot out of the tub. You're like, okay, so is he heavy or is he not? So then the moment he lands on the tile right next to the bathtub, the tile cracks because he weighs a lot. So it's like, okay, but that's good representation of weight. He cracked the tile. He's small, he landed on the tile, it cracked, because it's a lot of weight in one point. You know, there's no weight distribution, therefore it cracked. Brilliant. great representation of weight. But what the fuck was the tub about? And then throughout the entire scene where he like escapes the apartment by going through the air vents and the vacuum picks him up and all this shit, it's like, okay, but is he heavy or is he not? I don't understand. How do you set a law about how he's the same weight but then break it all because like he's getting thrown around by shit as if he actually weighed honestly less than an ant, because I don't think an ant would get thrown around in air vents and shit. Like, so they pretty much do this throughout the entire movie. So then you have the villain, Darren Cross, who's trying to recruit Michael Douglas because he's aware that, or Hank Pym, that he's aware that he was the original Ant-Man. He wants to use his suit technology to make the yellow jacket. He then tries to make his own by shrinking animals and like other test subjects, and you know, so he can then, you know, have like use it for, you know, war and whatnot. And so the idea is, oh, he's getting really close, we have to stop him, and then we'll have, you know, we'll stop him and, you know, everything will be right. So we have to train you to be strong enough to fight Yellow Jacket. So then Hope, who was supposed to be like the next predecessor to Ant-Man, but you know, Michael doesn't want him to, because they then find out that that Hope's mom died being the Wasp, because plot device, there's a certain material that you have to shrink down to a certain size to get in between to stop it, but once you shrink down you won't be able to shrink back.
The only way to the internal mechanics was through solid titanium. I knew I had to shrink between the molecules to disarm the missile, but my regulator had sustained too much damage. Your mother, she didn't hesitate.
So don't ever do it, which is totally foreshadowing of what Paul's gonna have to fucking do in the third act in order to stop Darren. So they go, don't ever do that. And so she's kind of jealous on the fact that Paul gets to be Ant-Man, which I guess I kind of get, you know, but she, like, the way she turns over, because they have like one conversation, because he's like, don't you see it? Hank doesn't want you to risk your life. He doesn't care about me. I'm just some random person. She's like, oh my God, you're fucking right.
Then why are you here?
It proves that he loves you. Hope, look at me. I'm expendable. That's why I'm here.
It's like, you're this smart woman. You've proven in this movie that you are very intelligent, you know, which is totally fine. I don't have any toxic masculinity, so you showed that you're very intelligent. And honestly, I like that more. I don't want you to be a stupid fucking bimbo. Great. You know, you look like you can hold your own ground. That's fucking awesome, right? So they have this one conversation. She goes, oh my fucking God, you're so right. How did I not see that? It's like, how did you not see that? Come on, he literally explained how your mom fucking died, and you're the only thing left in his family ultimately, because they don't show anyone else, his parents, cousins, nothing. You're like the only thing that's relevant in his life, and he knows that it's dangerous, so of course he wouldn't want to do that. You're his fucking daughter. You don't put two and two together? Fucking really? You don't put two? Okay. So anyways, she's then like, okay, that's fine, buddy with fucking Paul Rudd. They then train, the montage happens, whatever, which is fine. They just, like, so then they realize how they're gonna take down Darren. They're like, oh, we have to take down this building, we gotta run the electrical fields, we gotta sneak in through the underway, we gotta come in, we're gonna fight them, yada yada. That's fine. Okay, they're gonna set up this whole plan with like help with Louise and help with Dave. They go in, they start explaining things, and this is where like I said, they really hold your hand with this movie, and it bothers me. So they hold your hand like, okay, look at these ants. These ants are really good at conducting electricity, therefore they can fry circuit boards. I fucking wonder how that's gonna be used. I fucking wonder how ants that are sole purpose to fry circuit boards are gonna be used when taking over a building that has electricity in it. Fucking oh, these ants are really good at building structures. Look, they can build bridges and boats somehow. Wow, that you can go on, Ant-Man. I wonder what they're gonna be fucking used for. Oh wait, an ant holding up a 180-pound person? That doesn't make sense. Oh wait, Antony. Oh yeah, he named it Ant Antony. And movie 101, the moment you name an animal, like the moment when a character gives an animal a name, like 9 out of 10 times that fucker's dead. That's just movie 101. So they're fucking chasing over Darren Cross, and he's getting away. This is building up to the fight, because this is after he's already snuck in. So of course he snuck in by using bridges, in fucking rafts and shit. And of course, you know, they shut down the security and whatnot with the ants that can fry the circuit boards and the other ants that are super painful to take out guards. I wonder what they're gonna be fucking used for. And they finally make it their way there. And so they get there, they're about to get the yellow jacket, and Darren then, you know, catches Hank, and then like he shoots Hank, and then like, well, this is after Hank punches Darren, which I'll explain that scene later about pacing and understanding what the fuck this movie wanted to be. I'm all over the place. This is really like, I really like fresh myself when I was about to review this, but I didn't really like come in with any like structure. So this is me like open thought ranting about how this movie's dick. He gets punched, they make a joke, which then ruins the entire intensity of the scene, because then he gets shot after, and then they make another joke.
For me, and now it's gonna blow up in your face. Wow. Wow. I mean, I saw the punch coming a mile away, but I just figured it'd be all pathetic and weak.
Well, you figured wrong.
And it's just like, you can't throw jokes in a situation where the situation is then serious, because then you take away the tension that was just given to be built. So like, if he got punched in the face, he should have said something that then matched with being punched in the face, not him getting punched in the face and goes, wow, for an old guy you punched pretty hard, I thought I was expecting a little bit weaker or whatever. And it's like, you just ruin the scene's intensity. Then he gets shot, and then he says something about like, he makes like kind of like a weird like chuckle-ish way, like he makes like a gesture or something to leave, and it's just weird. Like you take time to build tension for this scene, but then you immediately ruin it because you're trying to like remind us as an audience like, hey, we're funny, remember? And it's like, you don't need to be funny all the time. You can be a serious movie, it's fine. Like, I know the situation is ridiculous because people are ants and it's fucking whatever, but like, as ridiculous as the situation can be, you can still be serious without throwing a joke to fucking bomb the situation and the scene. I just think that's fucking horrible writing. Sure enough, this fucking scene, I remember in movie theaters, I was like speechless. Like my hand was even out. I was like, someone made this. Like someone, and this got reviewed dozens of times, and no one questioned this scene. So he's leaving. Ant-Man catches up. He's coming in. He's flying on Antony and bullshit. You know, 180-pound man flying on an ant. Whatever. And fucking Darren Cross sees these swarms of ants at night, by the way, when he's in a helicopter. And, I mean, these ants gotta be like 50 feet away. Like, they're fucking far because they're, like, trying to race against the clock to reach to him. You know, they're down, like, this entire walkway. And, like, Darren's, who's a fucking scientist, by the way, who's actually smart and is proven to be smart because he like foils their plans and he's like building, you know, yellow jackets and shit, thought it was intelligent enough to grab a handgun and then shoot aimlessly at the swarm of ants. I wish I can make this up. This scientist guy grabs a handgun pistol, doesn't even aim, just points and shoots at a swarm of ants that are coming at him that are like 50 feet away, and the only ant that they conveniently hit is the one that Ant-Man is riding. Fucking what? How in the fuck did that happen? Out of all chances that a bullet hits that specific ant when there's a swarm of them, and on top of that, that the bullet hits the ant below Ant-Man and doesn't even hit Ant-Man, because a bullet is a lot fucking larger than an ant. And then he's flying in the air, goes, Antony, no! And then the fucking wing flutters down. Oh my god, what a horrible fucking scene. I can't believe that went by Marvel and Disney and all the directors and producers, and they go, no, yeah, that makes total sense. I totally get it. I totally believe it. That was very intense. I felt sorry for Antony, really. It was really a heart-gripping scene. No, it was fucking dumb. That was stupid. It made more sense, like, if he was Ant-Man or some shit and he was about to get smashed by like a fucking hand or something, and Antony came in and like pushed him out of the way and got squished, and then you're like, Antony, no, because like Antony really risked his life for him at that point, because he was actually in a bind that was like not at random. It was like, oh, this impact is directed at me and not at random, and Antony then risked his life for me, not just got conveniently hit. You know, you would then have more respect for Antony at that point. And so like then they fight, and the fight scene's kind of like funny-ish in a way because it's like all small scale and like they're fighting on the top of the train engine scene. Obviously, like that epic scene was like, oh no, let's get ran over, and the train's like boop, you know, like I thought that was fine because like the fight was silly to begin with, so therefore like you can cut away to like comedic effect, like for like comedic value you can cut away to that because the fight itself was silly because they started fighting in a suitcase, the phone was playing music, they drop it out of this little kid's room, you know, like the scene was silly, so therefore cutting away for comedic value is okay. It was an intense scene. And so when Ant-Man ruins another intense scene is when Hank is laying with his daughter Hope, which could have been a very heart-wrenching scene because Hank could have passed away and Hope could have then got revenge. Not revenge, but like the determination to become Wasp, because she becomes Wasp in the next movie anyways. But like it could have given her some drive and some motive to like want to work with Paul because she then lost something, so her motivation would become clear. But as he's dying, because it's Marvel and no one dies unless you're Quicksilver, and that's your whole fucking selling point to that movie, even though Age of Ultron's trash. She, you know, is crying, it's very upset, you know, it's like, oh wow, how's he really gonna like get out of this, you know, like they're locked into a room, like there's no way out, like he is gonna die, and like you could accept the fact that he's gonna die, and I think that's fine. I think characters dying are not always needed, but I think when it happens, most of the time it's justified, especially with, you know, Hank is a likable guy. He's like a very like stubborn dude, you know, like the first opening scene he's there, he like punches fucking someone in the face, so it's like, you know, like he's not like this, he's not a pussy, so like when he's dying it's like, okay, like you got shot, you went out swinging, like I respect you, you're old, I get it, you're gonna pass it on to Paul and so on. And so he's gonna die, and then he goes, no. She's like, how are we gonna get away out? And he goes, don't worry, I have an idea. And he pulls a tank out of his pocket, little keychain tank, you know. And then next thing you know, the tank grows actual size and busts out of the room.
The charges are safe. We've got to find a way out of here fast.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna die. Neither are you. It's not a keychain.
Total chaos in here. Multiple shots fired.
I'm not making that up. I want you to know that the rule that they set in the entire fucking movie is when you shrink something down, it retains the same weight. So you're trying to tell me that this old man had an entire fucking tank on his keychain? An entire tank. I don't even know how much tanks fucking weigh. A lot. I mean, at least like 20 tons or some shit. Like, it's gotta be fucking massive. And like, they showed this tank in the keychain a couple of times because he was going through security. He would drop it off, and the camera always kind of like stayed for a second on the keychain with the tank on it. So like, they kind of like edge you on it, like the keys are somewhat important or whatever. Because like, when you look at a film, if there's always an extra second taking place on an item, usually most of the time the item then gains value, and it will have value later in the film. That's how most things happen. Or like when a character learns something, there's always like that second takeaway before the next scene. Like the character has realization, the character has acquired new information without anything being said. Film 101, that they do that shit all the time. So when they're showing you these keys, you're like, what the fuck the keys gotta do with anything? And then next thing you fucking know, he's like, don't worry, I got a way out. And a fucking tank comes out and goes, you were carrying an entire tank. You carried an entire tank in your pocket. That's what the fuck's going on? That's what you're feeding me? Did no one like cross-reference their own fucking script and ideas? And they're like, well, that wouldn't make sense because that means he carried an entire tank in his pocket. And they're like, fuck it, it's Marvel. Rotten Tomatoes will love that shit anyways. Whatever. You know, like, how? So anyways, Ant-Man's defeating fucking Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket then like has a new upgraded suit that's like, oh, this shit's so fucking powerful. It's made out of this one material. Oh, flashback. The one material that fucking Hank said you can't fucking get in, and the only way to get into there is if you get really fucking small. Like I said, it was foreshadowing something in the third act. Wow, basic storytelling. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to shrink between the molecules to get in there.
Get away from us! Daddy, help!
I love you, Cassie.
So then, of course, Ant-Man again shrinks down to destroy the suit, and he wins. Yay! But now he can't grow big. But wait, plot armor. That's right. He can grow big because it's fucking Ant-Man. Yay! Like, there's no fucking way you actually buy the fact that he'll stay small. They even made this entire like scene where he's like in another dimension, and he's just chilling there. He's like, I don't know, I'm gonna get back. And everyone's like, oh no, he's not coming back. Oh no, it's like, of course he is. He's the fucking hero. What? It's Marvel. Of course he's coming back. Oh wait, he has these items that can grow things and shrink things. Like, they change size. He uses them in Civil War. He made like a gasoline truck big and exploded, and he like made himself big or whatever. I wonder what he's gonna use that for. Puts it in his belt that just conveniently happens to fit in the same size as him. Slaps that bitch on. Bang! This bitch can grow for miles. You can fit so much Ant-Man in this shit. And he fucking grows normal size again. Everyone's like, yay, he did it. Oh my god. And then they're like, everyone's like, yeah, all the damage you did, you're alright. You're pretty cool, man. You know, you're pretty cool, I guess. That's pretty much it. It's not a good movie. I want you to really understand that. Like, could it be enjoyable? Sure, if you turn your brain off. But this movie is like a 6 out of 10. Honestly, so the fact that it has like a 7.6 out of 10, 82% of Rotten Tomatoes, and 93% of Google users like that movie is fucking wild to me. Not saying my opinion is all, it's just I'm tired of these fucking Marvel movies getting away with stupid shit. Same thing with like Star Wars. I love Star Wars, as you can fucking clearly tell, and there's a bunch of shit over there. They get away with a lot of things, and it's fucking weird. Like, just make good movies. Stop making shitty fucking movies that don't make sense, and you fucking break all your plot holes. Like, you bring so many plot holes, and you break all your rules, but yet people fucking love this movie. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. So yeah, that's my review on Ant-Man. It sucked, and I hope this fucking brought some limelight to you to realize it also sucked. So if you enjoy this video, smash like. Like I said, these are like one-offs. These aren't like what my content's turning into. It's just, you know, I have an upload on the off days where X and Y and black and white aren't going on at the same time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, smash like. Check out links down in the description down below. So there's my Twitter, my Twitch, and you know, merch if you're into that, and Elgato and stuff. So they're great. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. That was my take on Ant-Man. If you guys want me to review more shit for Pre or bring Pre back, like actually bring it back, I will. Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. You guys know me as PattyTrills. I'm out. Yoga.